Hey, welcome to the show. There you are. Here I am. Monday, September 25th, 7 o'clock, almost 7:01. Sorry, I was a little late. Uh, I see Joe's with us already. How you doing, Joe? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard vaguely about this, talking about this Canadian Parliament giving a standing ovation to the SS Nazi. Yeah, I saw something about that as I was scrolling news articles earlier. But yeah, I hadn't slated to talk about it. I'll take a look and maybe we'll chat about it a little bit as well. Well, welcome to the show, buddy. If you're new to the show, you're watching, yeah, obviously you know what to do if you're on YouTube. Hit that subscribe if you like the show. If you're not already subscribed, hit the little like, all that kind of stuff. Help the algorithm push the content. Yeah, let's beat the shadows on this site. Unfortunately, some of the things I talk about aren't popular. So if you do like it, try and do what you can to support. Sometimes sharing different things like that. Obviously, you know when I'm going to be if online on the live broadcast if you've been watching the show. So you don't even need notifications. So yeah, just look for me on Mondays at 7 o'clock, unless I say otherwise. Yeah, we got a few things to cover today. Obviously, I'm gonna have to try and see if I can touch base or touch a little bit on that that Canadian thing that you were just talking about, Joe. But we're gonna talk about the Hollywood strike. I guess it's over now, so they've come to an agreement, which is I don't know, whatever. I guess it's good. Who cares? But yeah, we'll talk about that. Also, let's talk about why it seems Howard Stern is untouchable by the cancel culture or the woke left. He seems to call himself woke now, so I guess that's the way to get around it. You just say you're one of them, and you can say and do whatever the heck you want. You can be a shock jock, self-proclaimed, and you know do all that, and nobody's going to come after you. So we'll talk about that and the hypocrisy behind that. Also, uh, if you're not a football fan, I apologize. But if you are, you'll see that the Miami Dolphins won yesterday. Well, won, I guess, is an understatement. They scored 70 points against the Denver Broncos and almost tied or beat the NFL record, but they kind of stopped short. So we'll talk about that and what that means with football and why that is now, why we're in a society where we don't sort of, you know, I guess, celebrate punishment that the Broncos deserved and the record that Miami should have gotten. And I hate Miami, by the way. I'm a Bills fan, so I'm kind of glad they didn't get it. But anyways, so we'll talk about that. Also, Instacart. I don't know if you've heard of this. If you haven't heard of it, probably you have. We'll talk about it, what it is, what it means, how much you can make doing it, all this sort of ins and outs of that thing. Why it's different. I don't know. I guess I don't know why it's different than like Uber Eats or Uber in general, but apparently it is. But we'll talk about that. Also, flat Earth. I've been meaning to kind of talk about this for a little while. It seems to be gaining traction everywhere. I try to avoid, but I still get these flat Earth videos, and I hear of flat earthers talking about it. Seems to be pretty popular. Like I know people have said it's like 1% of the population or something, but 1% of the population is, it's kind of a big deal. So we'll talk about that and see what's going on there. Also, Barstool Sports, they have a show called Sunday Conversation. Sunday spelled with like as the dessert. Um, it's funny. I don't know if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Got a it's got this dry weirdness to it. It's just odd. It's not like jokes. It's just like weird questions and weird banter. It just makes it quite funny. So I'll play a little clip of it and we'll kind of discuss that too. Yeah. Yeah, Joe, Chinese flat earthers. Yeah, so we will yeah, and I got a little thing to talk about, a little sidebar thing that kind of came to me last minute about some scumbag kids in New Hampshire doing some gross things. We'll talk about that and the implications of what the internet and some of these social media sites have on these kids and how it desensitizes their decency, I guess you could say. So we'll go through an article and then we'll kind of discuss that a little bit. So again, if you haven't already, click that like. Look for my videos. If you miss any part of the podcast, look for the videos in smaller form uh, throughout the week. 5 o'clock, I drop them between Tuesday and Sunday. Sometimes I'll drop one on Monday if I've got a seventh topic to drop. I'll drop it on Monday as well before the podcast, so you can catch that as well. Always at 5 o'clock. So look for those, and again, share, like, do all the stuff. So, all right, well, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Let's get into the first thing I want to talk about here. Okay. So, like I said, the Hollywood strike, the writer's strike, it's over. I mean, it's good if you miss some of the late night talk shows and things like that. I guess that we're relying on these writers. For the most part, I don't think many people have really even noticed, but eh, whatever. It's done. So here we go. I'm going to read this article by Forbes. It just goes into a little bit of what they settle for and stuff. And it's Forbes. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Forbes as a um, article writer, but in this case, might be all right. We'll see. So Hollywood writers and studios reach exceptional tentative deal to end strike. So Hollywood writers and studios agreed to a tentative deal Sunday, setting the stage for an end to a nearly 5-month strike, one of Hollywood's longest work stoppages in decades, triggered by demands for better pay, residuals from streaming platforms, and concerns over the use of artificial intelligence. That was a big thing. They were worried about AI, um, them using AI writers essentially, or just like writing script off of AI, which is a concern. If you've ever used ChatGPT or any of these AI programs, you'll know that they're pretty good and they're getting better all the time. So the idea that they could take a writer's job, especially if you're not a very good writer, is quite concerning for them. The Writers Guild of America said a tentative minimum basic agreement has been reached, and the deal is exceptional, with meaningful gains and protections for writers in every sector of the membership. The Guild hailed its members in a statement, saying the deal was a result of the leverage generated by your strike. They'll always say that. They'll always say that if they're, you got a union or, a members based organization in some way like that, where they're obviously paying some type of dues or something like that. They'll always say that because they've got to legitimize, their position as, as this membership, right? They need to, they need to make it like, well, they need to make their a value for their services essentially. Their service is just to provide this group for people to be able to strike. But it's the writers that were striking. It's not like it was the this membership committee or or the higher ups in the guild that did anything for them. So I mean, they met and they struck a deal. Anyways, so the guild. Oh, sorry. The tentative deal is for a 3-year contract agreement, and it was reached after 5 days of talks between the writers' union and the studios represented by the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. Details of the deal have not been yet made public, as the final contract language is still being drafted, but it'll have to be voted on and ratified by the union's leadership and its members. The strike will officially remain in effect until the final approval of the deal, although the WGA said it has suspended picketing of the studios. So I guess it was 146 days that this strike lasted, and the longest was in 1988, which was 153 days. So, I mean, it's good that they were able to settle it out anyway. WGA, with its 11,500 members, began striking in May as writers demanded a revised compensation structure, saying the existing one had been upended by studios' pivot towards streaming. Yeah, well, obviously that's gonna worry them a little bit. They're not gonna necessarily need writers as much. Excuse me. The writers also flagged concerns about the use of AI for writing scripts, as I said, right? So, in a statement, SAG AFTRA wrote, to our fellow union siblings, that's a weird way to put it, we extend our heartfelt congratulations on securing a tentative agreement with the AMPTP. We applaud your dedication, diligence, and unwavering solidarity over the last 5 months. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's over. Good. I don't know. I guess it accomplished something, so they can be happy about that. We don't have to hear about it anymore, which would be nice. I'm sure they'll find a way to go on strike again in 6 months when AI gets better and they start using it more. until then, a little bit of quiet maybe. And now the bad late night talk show hosts can get back to work. So that's I guess that's good for everybody. All right. All right. There's one down. One down. We got one thing done. Let's move on to the next thing here. Uh, okay. Yeah. So Howard Stern, if you are a fan or not a fan, you obviously know who he is. I can't see anybody not knowing who he is by now. But he's always been kind of a goof. He's always been like a shock jock kind of goof, kind of funny. I don't know. I used to like listening to his show, but I don't know what happened. I just stopped. To be honest, I don't know what made me stop. There was no one thing that took place, but I just find him to be personally. I find him as a person to be kind of a I don't know. He's just like a big, tall, lanky weirdo pussy. You know, like he's afraid of his shadow. The guy the guy's scared of everything. He's not tough in any way, but he talks like the way he talks on his show and stuff. The way he's so uh, you know flippant about everything, and the way he'll sort of insult people, and you know just it's just funny to me the dichotomy, the difference of somebody who actually is that type of person, who's a very cowardice type person, to have that persona on a radio show. But it seems to work for him because the woke mob doesn't seem to be going for him. So let's read this article here by New York Post. It's New York Post, so whatever. So Howard Stern hits back at critics. I am woke, mother effer, and I love it. So Howard Stern said he takes it as a compliment when critics call him woke, declaring I am woke and I love it. The SiriusXM radio shock jock, who's rose to stardom with the offensive skits that often bordered on sexist and racist. Bordered? I'd say they pretty much were, but reacted on Monday to a YouTube clip in which a fan lamented that he had gone woke. It's funny that they say that. It bordered on that. If, I don't know, someone like Russell Brand did half of what Howard Stern does, they wouldn't say, oh, it bordered on sexist and racist. They'd say he's a complete racist. He's a complete sexist, misogynist. It's just funny how they change the narrative depending on who they're talking about. I hear that a lot, that I'm not good anymore because I'm woke, said Stern, a vocal critic of his erstwhile friend, former President Donald Trump, in comments reported by the news site Mediaite. Oh, Mediaite. By the way, I kind of take that as a compliment that I'm woke, the self-described king of all media said on Monday, the same day he took aim at Republican or Representative Lauren Boebert, calling her a disgrace to this country for her behavior at the Denver movie theater last week. I'll tell you how to feel about it, or how I feel about it. To me, the opposite of woke is being asleep, said Stern, a staunch supporter of the Democratic Party. Why can't I read right now? As if woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I am for the vaccine. Dude, call me woke as you effing want, Stern added. It's not about you. You're free to support who you like. You cannot support Trump. That's fine. It doesn't make you woke to not support Trump. There's a lot of people that aren't woke that don't support Trump. It's just you pick and choose. Like for one, I don't know. Again, I don't know how you respect a guy. You respect a guy that does this kind of shit, and I don't know how you respect him anyway, because the shit he does on his show, or what he used to do on his show, at least when I used to watch it, it's just garbage. It's just like basically Jerry Springer uh, in radio. Like it's just garbage stuff. But and then it's just the fact that he's a weakling. Like so, it's just a weird thing altogether. The notorious germaphobe has reportedly gone to extreme lengths to isolate himself since the spread of the coronavirus. Stern on Monday denounced critics of the COVID vaccine, saying, I'm not for stupidity, you know. Again, what are you talking? What do you mean stupidity? Your choice, buddy. Take whatever vaccine you want. I ran out Friday morning to get inoculated against the coronavirus, Stern continued. I was over at CVS. Thank you, CVS. I went over there at 9 a.m. and got myself that new vaccine for COVID, Stern said. Effing science. This effing country is so great, he added. Stern continued, I am woke, mother effer, and I love it. I want to be awake, he said. I want to read legitimate news sources. Stern also alluded to claims made by Trump that his supporters that President Biden's election victory was fraudulent. Here's how woke I am, Stern said. I believe the election was not rigged. I am woke. I think that's a compliment, the radio star added. Stern has made provocative comments about Trump and his backers in recent years. Yeah, look at this picture, right? This picture, he is shaking hands with him. He's the kind of coward that I'm sure if he ran into Trump, he'd say nothing. He would just be nothing but polite and, probably kissing his ass. He'd be non-confrontational, but then behind a mic, he's just got a big mouth, right? So how do you respect a guy like that anyway? His wife's kind of hot. Sorry, anybody watching that might get mad at me for saying that. In May 2020, Stern said he hates those who voted for the former real estate developer. See, here we go. So you hate those people? You're an idiot. Anybody who'd say they hate somebody for voting for Trump, to me, has to be an idiot. Like, why would you say that? You hate people like that? Like, so you hate somebody who has a difference of opinion? And number two, you hate anybody who voted for him? That's half the country. Do you hate half the country? You knob. Get out of here, man. I think it's death rows. Like, I don't know how well his program. I'm not gonna read any more of this article. It's just stupid. I don't know how well his Sirius XM radio show is going anymore. I don't know how good radio shows in general go anymore, especially now with podcasts just destroying all of that nonsense. But I just feel like this is a guy who used to be relevant, I guess, for his you know for being funny, absurdly funny, right? Doing absurd shit and just making people laugh in an absurd way. But now you try and add this sort of responsibility behind the absurdity and just makes him completely disingenuous to me. And I guess he probably has always been that way. All right. Well, that's enough of that douche. Let's move on to the next thing here. Okay. I'm going to talk about this, but pretty quickly here. Oops. So there were some kids in a New Hampshire high school that decided it'd be funny to take some classmates' pictures and share them amongst friends and then rate them. Sounds almost like it sounds like Hot or Not or something like that. But yeah, so I'll read this article. This is just brand new as of a couple hours ago today. So, petition demands expulsion of New Hampshire students accused of sharing and grading photos of female classmates without consent. So some 9th and 10th grade Bedford high school students, that's pretty sad. 9th and 10th grade, anywhere between 13 and 15. In Bedford, New Hampshire, mostly boys took pictures of 11th and 12th grade girls' buttocks and breasts without their consent, grading them and sharing them with others. According to letters sent by parents Thursday and Friday by high school principal Robert Jazokos. One letter sent to parents Thursday and shared by CNN or with CNN by Bedford School District said students involved with this behavior can expect a meeting with parents and a Saturday school in suspension or out of school suspension, depending on their involvement. Okay, they're going to get some suspensions, or they're going to get the Breakfast Club going on. If that's a reference to an '80s movie, if you didn't know. School officials plan to meet with parents and students Monday to make a plan to renew and maintain a safe and respectful environment for students, according to the second letter sent by parents Friday. According to the letter, a student shared with administrators 2 pictures that were collages of girls. It revealed all the girls who were photographed were wearing bathing suits or shorts and tops, and none of the photographs was taken from inside the school or on campus. Administrators said spent Friday interviewing approximately 35 male and female students from all grades about the incident, according to the letter. Some came to us on their own, and others were followed up with after learning that they might have additional information, the letter said. Okay, so let's get down here. So, as of right now, we know 2 students received images, and student reports point to 3 to 5 students sharing them. So they've got them on Snapchat. See, that's the problem. Snapchat's a problem. These kinds of these media sharing things like Snapchat, right? So Snapchat has there's this idea behind Snapchat that you send something and it's kind of like, oh, I can send something and then it goes away. Somebody can take a screenshot. Sure, they took a screenshot. They can still take the screenshot. And now whatever you sent on Snapchat that you thought was going to go away, going to be there forever, or somebody has it, use it against you, whatever, right? I think the problem with something like this is more in the educating the kids. It begins at home, right? You're going to let your kids do this kind of stuff and mess around with these social programs and such. Well, this is what's going to happen. Kids are going to be kids. Like teasing happens and stuff. Not that I'm not making excuses for these little pricks doing this. It's a disgusting move, but kids don't know they don't know the ramifications of something they're doing. They're sharing these pictures, and good thing at least that they're not nudes or anything like that. But they're sharing these pictures, and then I don't think there's harmful intent that they're grading or rating these photos. I think it's just what boys will do, and some mean girls. Um, but it's more you're teaching the morality behind it, or what the impact of something like that could be for the kids that are being affected. These girls that have sent these photos around or shared these photos with couple people, and then those couple people decided to be douchebags and share them with everybody. So it's more about the education of it. Uh, Again, as much as I blame the kids for this, I blame our culture. I blame our society. I blame all of that. It's just too easy now with the internet to not have the names and faces behind these kinds of actions and stuff. So it's almost like victimless crimes for these kids. They're like, "Well, I'm just going to do this thing," and they don't really think about who's being hurt or what the actual ramifications are. So, I hope they get the proper punishment, but expulsion, I don't know. Maybe it just it seems like sometimes there's a bit of an overreaction, but at the same time, I think the reaction should be enough to teach these kids, you know, the right lesson here. Maybe a good smack in the mouth too. Yeah. So Joe, what do we got here? You got a situation similar in my school, except this poor girl went uh, full frontal and let her boyfriend take a pic of it all. It was all over school. Yeah, so that's that's disgusting, right? It, I'm sure anybody who may be watching, or you've had an ex, or maybe your current girlfriend, current boyfriend, current husband, wife, whatever, send you some provocative pictures, and you know, under the idea that it's personal, it's going to be between you and them. The fact that somebody would share that with somebody else is just disgusting. But at the same time, you have to understand. You have to take a certain level of personal autonomy, uh, and and understand that there is that possibility that someone's going to be a douchebag and do something to hurt you like that. Hopefully, you make good decisions and you get away with that, and people don't do it. But if you're going to take those kinds of pictures, well, you know, I would I'd be very careful because they can and do flip out, right? So, um, yeah. So, yeah, I feel sorry for the girl that was in your school, but I guess she made bad decisions with boyfriends. I don't know. And hey, if she looked good, well, you know what? Whatever. I guess then she's got a lot of new admirers. Maybe she's got a new OnlyFans or a big Instagram account or something. It might work out for her. Yeah, you graduated in 2000. I was 96, so yeah, I'm a little older than you. Yeah, I was in high school at a time where the internet wasn't really a thing, so it was just starting to be a thing, but it wasn't a thing. So I'm the last of that generation, I guess. All right, let's move on to the next thing here. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but I feel like I got to talk about it. So the Miami Dolphins scored a near record amount of points against the Denver Broncos yesterday. Um, I just This team is great. I mean, I hate Miami, so because I'm a Bills fan, so obviously I hate Miami. But it's cool to see a team score this kind of points. Must be fun to watch. I didn't actually catch this game personally because I wouldn't watch a Dolphins game if you paid me. I should have watched this one, unfortunately, 70 points. But they actually um, put the brakes on a little, eh? So I'm going to read this article here and see what you think. There's something to be said about the society we live in where we're overly polite, this kind of thing. I think they should have just went for the record. It says Dolphin scores 70. Mike McDaniel explains why Miami decided to not go for the NFL scoring record by getting 73. Okay, so the Dolphins had a chance to tie the NFL scoring record on Sunday, but decided not to do it. The Miami Dolphins absolutely destroyed the Denver Broncos on Sunday, 70-20. By scoring 70, the Dolphins tied the NFL record for the fourth most points ever scored in a game. But here's the thing: they actually could have scored more. Miami hit the 70-point mark with roughly 8 minutes left to play after Devon Arcane scored on a 67-yard run after a failed drive by the Broncos. And by this point, mind you, they had all their second stringers in. So they pulled the first stringers out, and they're just still running all over Denver, right? So that's where I'll say I kind of disagree stopping. But here I'll continue to read this article anyway. The Dolphins got the ball back, knowing that if they scored a touchdown, they would break the NFL record for most points ever scored in a game. They also knew that if they just kicked a field goal, they would get to 73 points, which would tie the NFL record for the most points ever scored in a game. Now, see, the field goal thing I would disagree with, because that's what you're going for 100%. It's like, oh well, we got stopped and now we're gonna kick the field. That's just my personal feel. I'm not going to argue for or against that sort of thing. I just would say, just just let them go for it. They get the touchdown, they get the touchdown. But here's what they decided to do anyway. Even though the Dolphins had their backups in, they still managed to drive down into Denver territory thanks to a 52-yard run by Chris Brooks. The big game put the Dolphins at Denver's 23-yard line with just over 2 minutes remaining. At that point, it would have been pretty simple for the Dolphins to get at least a field goal out of the drive, but Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel decided to take the high road. Instead of going for the record, McDaniel called for 3 runs up the middle to make it fourth down. And instead of attempting the field goal, he called for a kneel down that ended Miami's possession. So, personally, I don't disagree with not calling for the field goal, but running the 3 plays up the middle was probably just they were just giving it up essentially. They probably just said, yeah, just don't run it in type thing. Whereas I would have just, if I were them, I would have just let them go for it. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't. But yeah, whatever. I think we live in polite society, and that's the thing now. It's like, well, let's not hurt anybody's feelings. So, well, as I said, I'm not a fan of the Dolphins anyway. So I'm kind of happy to not see them get the record. I guess the record was back in, let's see if it says it. I think the record was back in the 1940 or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So Chicago beat Washington 73-0 in the 1940 NFL title game. Back then it was AFL, I think, where there wasn't enough teams for 2 conferences. I'm not sure. But anyways, either way, I don't really care. Pretty impressive that they were able to score that many points. It probably would have been a fun game to watch, even though it was garbage Miami Dolphins, who, again, I hate. All right. Oh, yeah, Joe. Yeah, I'm over 40. Thanks for the compliment, because you put damn in front of that, so I'll assume that you didn't think I was over 40. Yeah, and I agree. So you shouldn't. With sports, just go at it. Just go. I mean, kids, I understand. When I played high school football, there were a couple of games where there were games where we got routed completely, but there were other games where we were doing the routing against other teams, and that's what they would do. I hated it because I was always a starter. So I hated when we would route a team, because then I'd play like whatever. I'd play 2 quarters or maybe not even, and then I'd sit, and they'd have all the backups playing. So I was like, ah, shit, we did too well too quick. So yeah, so I always hated that, but I get it. I mean, as kids or whatever, but in this case, they're a bunch of men. They can handle it. If you're a professional football team and you show up to a game and you get trounced 70-20, you shouldn't expect that they're going to be like, oh, we'll go easy on them. No, you know what? You're all men. Too bad. Just keep going. Keep trouncing. Go nuts. Again, the field goal thing, whatever. I can understand. There can be an argument either way. I don't really care either way. But personally, I would say, yeah, I wouldn't kick the field goal. I'd just maybe even go for it on 4th down. Screw it. What's going to, you might as well just go for the touchdown, see if you break the record. But whatever. I think we're too polite as society now. So, all right, let me get on to the next thing here. Okay, so Instacart. Instacart, if you haven't heard of this thing, it is basically a grocery shopping app where you can buy your groceries online and somebody's going to go and pick them all for you and then deliver them to you. And you can get them delivered pretty quickly. And the people that do it are like Uber drivers, that type of thing, and they can make money. So it's just another Uber, but basically for groceries. As we get lazier and lazier in society, or, I mean, I would like to say busier and busier, or if our time is valued more and more, and the cost proposition of something like this is it outweighs the amount of time that it takes to go ahead and do it yourself. Okay, I understand that, but I like these kinds of services if again if they add value. If going grocery shopping, let's say round trip takes me an hour, and I can pay someone, it costs me $20 to have someone else do it. Well, that's well worth it for me. I'm like, that's a $20 hour, and my hours are worth more than $20 to me, so I'll pay someone else to do it. And if somebody's happy to do it, cool. But here, I'll read this. I'll read this article. It's just a little bit of explanation how Instacart works and some of the costs and stuff. So here we go. Whether you've been getting your groceries delivered since 2020 or earlier, or just now starting to consider it, it's worth learning about all the options on the market. Instacart is one of the biggest, most widely available grocery delivery services in the United States, also available in Canada, I hear. It also happens to be my personal favorite service. So, how Instacart works. Instacart lets you shop at nearby grocery stores online, as well as pharmacies, office supply stores, pet stores, and more, and sends a personal shopper, just someone to go and shop for you, to fulfill and deliver your order to you the same day. Unlike other grocery delivery services, the company doesn't stockpile fresh produce in a massive warehouse. Instead, this shopper, a part-time Instacart employee, goes to the store. The writer of this is a Pittsburgh resident. So, as a Pittsburgh resident, I'm often ordering from Fresh Time Market, Shop and Save, or Aldi. I don't know of any of these because I'm in Canada, but picks up everything on your list and then drives it to you in their own car. Think of it as the Uber of grocery delivery. Where is Instacart available? So Instacart serves zip codes all around the country. Again, I think it's in Canada now. It says 50 states and more than 13,000 cities in North America. And you can just check online and see if it's available to you. So you can sign up for them and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that. What stores can you shop through Instacart? Instacart works with local and national grocery stores, wine shops, wholesale stores, convenience stores, pet stores, and other retailers in the beauty, sporting goods, and electronics industry in your area. So the shops that are available to you will depend on what's within driving distance. There are about 35 available to this person writing the article. If there's a Costco in your area, chances are that you can shop Costco through Instacart, even if you're not a member. Oh, that's cool. So that's a nice little thing there. Membership, Costco membership costs, I don't know, what is it, $100 a year or something? How much does it cost to have an Instacart deliver groceries? So delivery cost. Delivery is free for your first order, although there may be a minimum basket size required. You do not need to be a member to shop with Instacart. However, if you sign up for Instacart Plus, previously Instacart Express, you'll get free delivery for orders that are more than $35 and reduced service fees, among other perks. Okay, so your members start at $3.99 for orders more than $35. Instacart Plus costs $99 per year or $9.99 per month after a 2-week free trial. So, okay. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have to do the math and see if this is worth it to you. I feel like the grocery stores, although I don't use this service, I feel like the grocery stores have their own delivery services and stuff. So I don't know. You'd have to weigh out the cost between the two. So here we go. Grocery costs. Instacart has nothing to do with how the prices are set. That means that it's up to the individual stores. You can look at each store's Instacart homepage to learn about their pricing policy. Typically, you might have to pay a little more for most items through Instacart than if you were shopping in real life. Additionally, you won't always get to take advantage of all the in-store sales. That said, there are still sales available to you on Instacart. Buy one pack of English muffins, get two free, and your store of choice might also have a special section of coupons, which you can easily browse and shop. Okay, so whatever. Tipping. Okay, they deliver alcohol. Let me see. But you got to be over 21 or older in the States. So here's some pros and cons of ordering through Instacart. So pros, obviously, it's convenient, particularly if you can't leave the house on your own. Through online selection, choose what you'd like to find in store. Ability to order from stores beyond supermarkets. Access to Costco even without a membership, and friendly personal shoppers and an easy ordering experience. Okay, whatever. That's just general. This article obviously is pushing Instacart and probably hoping that you'll click somehow on this and they'll get some kind of affiliate payback for it. But some cons: can't be choosy about the produce. That's huge. So when I go shopping, I'm pretty picky about the produce. as you know, anytime you get delivery of any sort, I get a lot of Home Depot deliveries for, you know, building materials, and wood is the worst. They'll just pick the most warped, goofy wood possible, and you know they're throwing some of their shit on there to just get rid of it in the delivery. I'm sure the same thing's happening with the produce, right? You just can't, you don't pick, someone else is picking, so that's going to be a big drawback. Prices vary from actual in-store prices, which means you could pay a premium, but not always. The markup varies from store to store, and it's not clear why some items are more expensive than others. And then obviously no sales and stuff. So you can make some money though with this if you wanted to do it as almost the same as like Uber. Um, so I mean, if it was something you were looking to do on the side, it seems like it's not a bad service. From what I've read, you can make anywhere between in the states somewhere between like, you know, on the low side, 12 to $18 an hour or something. And I'm guessing in certain states that's quite a decent, you know, amount of money to be able to make doing that kind of thing. In Canada here, if you're doing it in peak times and stuff, I've read some articles that say you can make anywhere between like 20 and $30 an hour. So I mean that's not bad, I guess. If you need a little side income or something like that, take a look at this Instacart. It might be something that you'd enjoy doing, or you know, or even something you'd enjoy using as a customer. So all right, Joe. So oh, you've been using Instacart a lot, eh? Nice. Okay. 4 years. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, my girlfriend uses something. I don't know. She gets groceries delivered by someone. Could be Instacart. I doubt it. It's probably something else, but it's kind of cool. I mean, it saves you time going and doing it. Uh, yeah. So of course you're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to do your due diligence on the stores and stuff that you shop from. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice tip. $20 is a good tip. I'm sure they're happy to do your orders. They're probably fighting over it now. They're like, oh, they know the address. So that's good. I like to do that too. I like to tip. I like to tip well for delivery personnel, just because I feel like they're probably getting screwed a lot. So, and if I'm too lazy to go out and do something, eh, I don't mind giving a little bit of an extra tip. Saves me the gas, all that, my time, all that. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing here. So, flat earthers have been meaning to talk about this for a while. Funny, a little while back, I was looking to actually have a flat earther come on the podcast. This is back when Tyler was doing it with me, and it kind of the deal didn't really work out, so didn't happen. But I'm curious. I'm always curious about theories and ideas that seem so outlandish to me, or just crazy in general, that I'm just curious enough that I just need to know. I'm like, what's making people believe this? Because some seemingly intelligent people and a pretty big subsector of the population seem to believe this as a thing, as a real conspiracy theory. So I would like to kind of avail myself to somebody who was an expert on this. But for now, I'll just read these articles. So, are flat earthers being serious? So this article here is by Live Science or Live Science. I don't know, it's just a science article or a science um, writer on online. I'm not sure. I don't have any opinion either way on this, so I won't say whether they're good or bad. Flat earthers believe one of the most curious conspiracy theories on the internet. Here's a look at what they believe and why. Of all of the conspiracy theories that litter the internet, the flat earth conspiracy is quite possibly the most curious. After all, the ancient Greeks figured out the planet's shape and even circumference in the 3rd century BC. But a French society founded in the 1950s dedicated to insisting that the earth is flat has given rise to a modern ground of flat earth adherence. These believers claim that the earth is a flat disk and that evidence that it is round, say pictures taken from space, are an elaborate hoax involving multiple governments. Excuse me. That's where you lose me. You can't get. It's hard to get uh, a big number of people to go along with anything, let alone something this big. It just, I don't know. It just seems. It just seems that's harder. That's a harder pill to swallow for me. That all these people are lying about something than it is to say that you're just wrong. But anyways, opinions differ on exactly how the flat Earth works. Believers concocting elaborate versions of physics and creative interpretations of the solar system to make their theories work. No one knows how many flat Earth believers are out there. According to the Smithsonian Magazine, membership in the Flat Earth Society, founded in 1956, once reached 3,500 people. Today, the society claims more than 500 members on its roster. But some believers want nothing to do with the Flat Earth Society, according to the 2019 CNN article, with some attendees of the Flat Earth International Conference in Dallas that year telling the news agency that the organization is a government-sponsored front designed to make flat earthers look bad. Okay. As the Flat Earth Society Flat Earth International Conference schism reveals, flat earthers are not a monolithic group. The current president of the Flat Earth Society, Daniel Shenton, is a Londoner who now lives in Hong Kong. Robbie Davidson, who organized the annual Flat Earth International Conferences, is a Canadian who espouses a biblical worldview and opposes what he calls scientism. Okay. A 2017 national poll by Public Policy Polling found that only 1% of Americans believe the Earth was flat. And I like how they say that, only 1%. 1% of Americans is a big number. You know, it's not, we're not talking about a couple thousand people. We're talking about a couple million people believe this. That's a pretty big number, man. So I'd like to know why a couple million people are believing something like this. Again, like I said, I'm curious. With additional 6% saying they weren't sure. So okay, so let's just say 7% of people are unsure if the Earth is actually the globe. That's that's enough people to start to say, all right, we should do something to kind of debunk this or look into it. And I guess they are debunking it. There's only so much you can do, I suppose. In a 2018 article in the Colorado Sun on a flat Earth convention in Denver found that many attendees believe the whole suite of conspiracy theories, such as that all politicians are actors and that powerful shadowy forces control the world. Now you're getting into lizard people or this kind of thing. The aliens are running a shadow government on us and things like that. So you're kind of getting crazy on this kind of stuff. But here's a here's a map. So the idea is that Antarctica is basically an ice wall that surrounds the whole flat Earth, and then there's a firmament that goes over the top, and there's water all around. This is what I understand, which seems less crazy to me than we're a globe. I don't know. Whatever. If you look at both things, from where we are, say that we're this globe spinning through space at 800 miles an hour or whatever we're spinning it, or we're on this flat Earth. They both seem crazy. It just, which one's more crazy? I tend to believe the flat Earth's a little crazier. But okay, so the leading flat earther theory holds that Earth is a disk with the Arctic Circle in the center and Antarctica, a 150-foot tall, 45-meter wall of ice around the rim. NASA employees, they say, guard this ice wall to prevent people from climbing over and falling off the disk. This sounds like Game of Thrones. Okay, come on. So is this where they're sending people? They're sending them to the Night's Watch? Come on, people. You got to try harder than this, I think. But okay, yeah. So that's all I'm going to read out of that. As it would seem, flat earthers are here to stay, and this theory is gaining traction, and I don't know why, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research because it's kind of curious to me. Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. It's probably none of the above. We're just living in some simulation. Basically, it's the Matrix. So, prove me wrong. All right, let's get on to the next thing here. The last and final thing. All right, 45 minutes. Ooh, I'm going a little long today. Okay, so if you haven't watched this, Barstool Sports has a show called Sunday Conversation. I keep catching these little clips from it, Facebook videos. They know what I like, so it just pops out stuff like this. It's funny. I don't know. It's not like, when you're watching something and it's laugh out loud funny. This is not laugh out loud funny. It's just like humorous the whole way through. You're watching going, it's just dumb. The questions are dumb. The way they frame the questions are dumb. It's just dumb, but it's funny. It's funny dumb. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this little clip from this one with Tyson Fury. Uh, you're welcome because I'm gonna get a copyright strike guaranteed, but I'm still gonna do it. So here we go.
The slimmest, cutest heavyweight of all time. Glenny Balls.
What's up, man?
Trying to take my title of being the skinniest, fattest dude on the earth. Not happy.
You did kind of give me a dead fish handshake too when you walked in.
In the United States, you know what we call people who do dead fish handshakes?
Pussies.
Yeah, that's what we say. He beat me to the...
Punch.
There's
No
something
pun
funny about
intended.
this guy.
I did. I intended it. How tall are you?
Tall enough to have 7 kids.
You have what?
About 7 kids. Yeah.
What was the thought process behind having 7 kids? Horny?
Yeah, you could say I'm a pretty horny devil.
Really?
A horny little bastard. Well, you know, my numbers are like 7 times a day, masturbation.
What?
That's what I wank 7 times a day.
You choked a chicken 7 times a day?
Yeah, but I'm trying to get it up because I've been told they're rookie numbers.
Do you ever worry that you'll kill the chicken?
No, chicken never dies. Chicken's strong like blood.
I'm jealous, dude.
Yep.
So if our interview goes for too long, will you jack off right here during the interview?
No, I'll have to go out and do 2 somewhere. I always order a couple of spare rooms.
You order spare rooms just so you can masturbate. You're the master.
When I
You get the idea. It's funny. It's just that's one of the funnier ones. There are some that aren't that funny even, but they're just just humorous the whole way through. It's that guy. It's the guy that's hosting it. The guy that's asking the questions. You're funny to me, and then they'll just pan over to the other dude and he'd just be sitting there eating something or just like looking weird at them. So it's just funny. Check it out. It's if you're looking for a little laugh, it should do well for you. Like I said, it's just been getting in my feed. They've been following my feed. Some of them are stupid, but it depends on the guest too, right? If the guest is funny and they're into it, um, the newest one was awful. I don't know, some YouTuber or online guy or something. I don't know if he had Tourette's or what the case was. He was just kind of stupid, but check it out. If you like it, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And, yeah, have a nice day. Yeah. All right. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm at 48 minutes and I'm hungry. Joe, thanks for joining me today, buddy. Always a pleasure to have you with me. If you did catch this whole podcast, got through it, thanks for watching. Obviously, hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you do like the podcast, share it with friends. Anything you can do to help it out, help it grow. The more I grow, the better it is for the content that comes on here. If you don't like the podcast, well, I'll do another one next week. I'll endeavor to do better next week. Mondays at 7:00. Look for me Mondays at 7:00, and any of the clips of the podcast that you've watched or you missed, you can see again Tuesday through Sunday. This week I'll have one on Monday because I have seven captures. So you can catch them at 5:00 on the every day. And again, like those and share them with your friends and such. Again, thanks for watching, and join me next week, 7:00. I'll see you then.